Hello, my friends, my family, my esteemed colleagues. I have been receiving quite a few comments asking about our emotional state and if change of diet can help there. Well, is there a connection between proper diet and our sanity? Of course. I have explained that brain uses huge amount of energy, way more than muscles, more than twice as much. And it also, when we are running properly on fat, then our neurons in the brain, they have just about double amount of mitochondria. If our muscle cell would have 2,000, the brain cell would have 4,000. Especially in people that are whose job is really to concentrate a lot. They don't have to be smart people. It could be just concentration, doing job that requires a lot of attention. Because of the high necessity of sugars and the high energy consumption, brain is the first organ in a body to run out of charge when we don't eat correctly. And by not eating correctly means when we are mixing the forbidden food with our fuel system. When we start powering our body, our cells with sugar. Since we do not have reserves of sugar in a body, don't tell me glycogen. Glycogen is only available if stress hormone is released and breaks the bond with protein. So we don't have to be in stress all the time, right? So unless we are in stress, we don't have any sugar storage. So we depend on frequent eating. And since brain is the one that will starve on energy first, well, what happens? We become sleepy. Whenever there's a drop of energy, we become sleepy, tired. Before that, we lose concentration. I know when I was studying as a young guy, and young guy I still was fairly clean in comparison to older people. So I was holding an electrical charge, and I was eating a lot of meat, but also eating always meat with some carbohydrate. I could not imagine eating steak or pate without meat or without the carbohydrate. So it was always bread or potato or rice. We didn't eat that much pasta because I was born in Czech Republic. We didn't eat pasta there. It was basically potatoes. In Croatia, okay, the people were eating also rice and pasta, but somehow through a family habit, not much pasta in our meals, spaghetti occasionally. So I was getting carbohydrates, so I was glucoholic, but low level we can say glucoholic because I started my day since I was doing always a lot of physical activity, demanding sports, or work, helping around. So I started my day always with some steak and a couple eggs on it. That was my breakfast. And then there has to be meat during the lunch. Lunch was the biggest meal. And dinner, whatever was around. But my major meals always packed with meat. And even then, when I was studying, I could hold my concentration less than 2 hours. And I knew it. When I was really preparing for some exam, I would put shades down on the window so I don't know if it's day or night, and I would put the light and I would focus on studying. And if some noise, if I heard some noise, it means I have lost concentration and makes no sense to continue now trying to study. I would have a bit of coffee and I would go to sleep. And I would wake up within an hour or so, and I was regenerated, ate a piece of bread or something, and I went back to studying. Again, until I lose the concentration. Now, it can pass hours before I lift my head and I say, wow, almost whole day is gone. Because I'm not glucoholic anymore. So my brain is being supplied with adequate amount of energy constantly. Because it gets through the fat, and the number of mitochondria rose so much that I don't need any sugar to think clearly, to be concentrated, to be sober. I don't get headaches from tiredness. I don't get aggravated when I'm tired, because I don't get tired until I decide to relax. And then all of a sudden, I want to watch a movie and I get sleepy. Why? Because body goes immediately into regeneration mode, cleansing and regenerating. Why to waste time? Sure, I sleep like a baby, like I lay down and pew. So that's how we should function. But because we are glucoholics, we are being told that we have to eat vegetables cooked, that bread is the base of our diet, then we reprogram ourselves, we cut down on mitochondria, and of course the organ that suffers the most is our brain. And very quickly, after we eat, very quickly, within an hour, the brain is already lacking energy, it's being tired. It's calling for more, but all it gets is triglyceride. It cannot produce enough energy, so we cannot hold concentration and we become sleepy. Majority of my clients, I have to speed up now my educational stuff because they start sleeping on me. So I'm always watching them, and as soon as I see it, I change the thematic, I make them up so we can continue. But the reason for this is lack of energy because we eat incorrectly, and we are using for energy, we adjusted ourselves to use for energy something that we have no storage of. So unless you have a piece of chocolate always in the hand, or some cookie, or a piece of bread, some type of a carbohydrate, some type of a sugar, that you can, you don't need much, because all of it is going to be turned into energy, and very rapidly. You have it, and just in a minute, you already, your light bulbs goes on. So this is the reason. And now, we don't do this. We cannot always munch on something. You cannot be in a conference, you cannot talk business and munching. It would look stupid, it looks unprofessional, ridiculous, no? So what happens? We are forcing the brain to work underpowered. So, and you are listening to what they are saying, and you really want to sleep, and you are becoming slowly aggravated. And now, if you are being forced to perform, the brain is in real tight spot because it is underpowered. It cannot function. So, in desperation, it goes into stress. And it produces itself stress hormone, steroids, just to tap into glucose, into glycogen reserves that it has for occasions of stress when life is in danger. But as soon as you produce stress hormone, what it does, it puts you in alert. It creates a stress situation, and you start reacting to everything like your life is in danger. And you are explosive. You become defensive. You react on every little comment that you get. You react in self-protection. And this is where comes bipolarity. You munch on a piece of chocolate and you love the world. But then you are asked to do something and you are underpowered, you explode. You completely change. You can change in, sometimes you change into maniac. Later on you cannot even believe that you reacted like this. But it is subconscious because we are working most of the time from subconsciousness. So you just react the way as you are programmed. When you are in a stress, you are defending your life. Nothing else matters. And your brain creates it when it needs energy desperately, when it needs to perform, and energy is missing. You have plenty of triglycerides, but you don't have active mitochondria. So you cannot use them to produce energy. You produce 1/4 of what you should be producing. Brain cannot run on that. So many people who have these problems of either being tired and then becoming aggravated because they have to perform and they don't understand why they are tired and why they are being aggravated by everything, it is because brain is underpowered. And I have proven this. I had quite a few cases of bipolarity which like this disappeared. Correct diet. Many of our psychological problems are related directly to brain being underpowered. And we can see it in the children. And we gave them name of diseases. When child eats, it gets stimulated and it behaves normally. It's a child, flies all over the place. But quickly energy goes down and he becomes tired but doesn't want to go to sleep. No child wants to sleep, they want to do things, but they cannot do them when they are underpowered. So they become cranky and they go and cling on you. Mothers know this the best. They don't know what to do with this child. Always by this, you give him whatever, nothing, because it's underpowered. And then you give them something to eat, piece of chocolate, and they are flying all over the place. So we just don't understand things because we are being stupid. We are being made stupid by our science that tells us different. Time to ditch science, no? So I had cases, clients that were suicidal. And one in particular was 30, I believe at that time, 36, 38-year-old, a Venezuelan that was living, I think, in England at that point. So we were communicating also like through Skype. And he heard from his family about me. I was then spending some time with family of my wife. She is Venezuelan. And he told me his history. He was lethargic. So doctors couldn't help him because doctors know diddly, you know what, because we are not told about these things. So we don't know nothing. So he ends up with a psychiatrist. And psychiatrist, what else he can do? You feel bad? Pill. Now what are these pills? We call them drugs because they are drugs. Especially those mind-controlled pills. They're all suppressants. So you just stop caring. You just you get in a worse depression, not realizing what is happening. And because of these drugs, they don't only work on your depression, making you more depressed and sleepy, drugged. They stop your cellular hydration. And since he was young, sexually active, well, guess where the problems become prominent? In the most active organ, prostate and penis. So all of a sudden he started having prostate problems, depressed, drugged, and prostate problems. So more drugs. And then he got varicose veins on scrotum. He became impotent with inflamed prostate. And now being completely depressed and not being able to have sexual relations, and being young, so he became suicidal. And then he gets drugs which actually promote suicidal behavior. Again, depressants. So he contacted me and we started with healing. And first 2 months, well, first week before he even started using electrostimulator, which I recommended for him, but first he had to cleanse and show me that he can change the diet. And in first 2 weeks he felt such a big improvement that he desperately wanted the electrostimulator. But I explained, look, you cannot have, also he was a smoker and coffee drinker. I said, you cannot have any cigarette and any coffee. No, I gave it all up. And then he starts calling me almost every other day, actually talking to my wife. Oh, I'm depressed, I don't know what to do. It's not working the way how it at the beginning was. And I said, are you smoking? No, I gave a smoking. Are you drinking coffee? No. Until after more than a month, he slipped. And he said, yeah, that one cigarette I had. I said, what? And he said, what? Well, subconsciously, I knew that something had to be done. He has to be doing something. And that was this one cigarette a day. Because people think, I was smoking 2 packs a day, now 1 cigarette, that's nothing. Well, it prevents cellular hydration. Your blood can be cleaned, you can have everything you want, but that little trace of nicotine will stop cellular hydration and there is no cellular cleansing and improvement. So finally, after we called him, he gave that up, and within 3 weeks, because his blood was clean, that was his only little problem. And bingo! He started recovering like crazy, and today everything has recovered, varicose veins disappeared, he's sexually active, everything is fine. But 0 drugs. You cannot be drugged and expect that you are going to heal. And the worst thing if you are depressed is to go to shrink, especially shrink that gives you pills. We have to learn the truth. Okay? So, I hope that I have answered the questions to those who are doubting that their psychological problems will be changed or influenced through change of diet. Well, I assure you that they will. Not maybe totally, not everything, because there are many different psychological problems which make a long-term damage, but that also can be addressed and it can be worked on. This is why consultation is always recommended, so we can pinpoint exactly where the problem is, and this way we cut down on healing period, because we don't monkey around, we go directly for the problem. Okay? But definitely, if you have any mental issues, including autism, big changes happen once when you correct diet. Big changes, and when you allow cleansing. Thank you for listening. Love you all.